Hey everybody, it is Wednesday, April 29th. I hope you guys are all doing great. I'm joined here by a beaver today. He's got his beaver tail, beaver teeth. I hope you guys are all doing great. I hope you guys were able to have some fun yesterday, even though it was pretty rainy and kind of not such a great weather day. But the weather's going to turn around and it's going to start really being nice again. So hopefully you guys can get outside and play a little bit more. So let's get into today. Some quick reminders. Miss Sommerfeld and I posted the new stuff for IXL on Monday, so take a look at those for reading and math. We'll have our class hangout tomorrow at 10 o'clock. That would be a.m., not that late at night. We're going to do it in the morning. So at 10 o'clock, we'll do our classroom hangout. I hope to see you guys there. Head on up for that free lunch and breakfast. Yesterday was a hot ham and cheese. It was a pretty solid one. I know Cal and Emery thought that was pretty good. And if you have any questions for me, please let me know, whether it's dojo, phone, email. I'd love to hear from you guys. So make sure you guys are staying home and staying safe. Taking a look at the academic side of things. Math, Prodigy, 15-20 minutes as usual. Make sure you guys are knocking that out. Some of you guys are doing a phenomenal job on doing that. IXL, take a look at that. AR, make sure you guys are reading on your own. 20-30 minutes, guys. Knock that out. Keep going. You got Epic too if you're running out of books. Keep taking those AR tests. Some of you guys are doing a great job with that. Keep up the good work. IXL, keep it going. Social studies, I did put up a Kahoot. I got some messages. Some of you guys, let me know how you're doing. I got some updates on how you guys did on your Kahoot. Keep up the good work, but make sure you hit up that Kahoot symbols and flags. And check out that guidance or the specialist classroom in Dojo for music, art, and guidance, because there's some really good stuff posted in there. So take a look at that. I've been going over the different math standards or the different math things that we were working on in IXL. Let me know if you have any questions. You've just got some addition. Make sure you're carrying those numbers. The division facts. Remember, you've got your number families. We've got two small numbers make a big number. Just some place value riddles. Kind of knock those out. The sequencing one I think is kind of fun because it's just patterns and trying to identify those different patterns by seeing what continues and what things go in there. And then maybe the toughest one would be the using the inches of a ruler. Take a look at that one. Take a look at yesterday's video. I went over it. If you want more, let me know and I'll be happy to help you guys out a little bit more if you're stuck with some of those. The City of Ember is our story. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. We've got a lot of really interesting things here. We've got Dew here. We've got Lena. And they're looking out over the city here. We're getting really into it. And Doone's finding out he might be in trouble, right? He's got the guards looking for him. And he's taken off to try to find Lena to make sure the guards don't find her. Our map here. So Doone has got to go from his house, which is right here, all the way to Lena's house over here. So he's going to have to book it. Something like that probably would be his route. Maybe he's got a different method of getting there. But he's got to try to get to her house before the guards figure it out. If you remember, Doone's neighbor actually sent the guards towards the trash heaps. So she bought him a little bit of time before the guards find him. So we've got a couple of things going on there. Here's that the instructions to egress, to get out. So it'll be interesting. We've kind of figured out what some of these things are. We know it involves boats and getting out of there. So it'll be interesting. So again, we left off with Lena just at home and knowing that she was really going to have to keep Poppy safe. So it's going to be her responsibility to make sure no harm could come to Poppy. So kind of taking over that motherly role of making sure that she's going to be safe in all of this. It seemed she had barely closed her eyes when she felt Poppy's hard little heels banging against her shins. Time, get up, Poppy chirped. She got up out of bed, dressed herself with Poppy. In the kitchen, Miss Murdo was mashing potatoes for breakfast. How lovely, Lena thought, to have breakfast cooked for her, to hear water bubbling in the pot, to find a bowl and a spoon set out on the table, and vitamins lined up neatly beside the cup of beet tea. I could live here forever, Lena thought, before she remembered that in a day or two they would all be leaving. There was a sudden banging on the front door. Miss Murdo dried her hands and went to answer it, but before she had taken 3 steps, the banging came again. I'm coming, Miss Murdo cried, and when she opened the door, there was Dune. His face was flushed, he was breathing hard, he had a bulging pillowcase slung over his shoulder. He looked past Miss Murdo to Lena. I have to talk to you, he said, right now, but... He threw up a doubtful glance at Miss Murdo. Lena scrambled up from the table. In here, she said, towing him towards the blue-green room. When she closed the door, Dune told her what had happened. They'll come for you, too, he said, any minute. We have to get out of here. We have to hide from them. Lena could hardly make sense of what he was saying. They were in trouble? Her legs went shaky at the knees. Hide? She said, hide where? We could go to the school. No one will be there today. Or the library. It's almost always open, even on holidays. He hopped impatiently from foot to foot. But we have to go fast. We have to go now. They have signs up about us all over the city. Signs? Telling people to report us if they see us. Lena felt as if a swarm of insects had inside her head, buzzing so loudly she couldn't think. How long do we have to hide? All day? I don't know. We don't have time to think about it, Lena. They could be outside the door this minute. The urgency in his voice convinced her. On the way, Poppy through the living room, she gave Poppy a quick kiss goodbye and called, Bye, Miss Murdo. We have some emergency work to do. If anyone comes asking for me, say I'll be back later. They were down the stairs before Miss Murdo could ask any questions. Once in the street, they ran. Where to? Lena said. The school, Dune answered. They took Greystone Street, staying within the shadows as much as they could. As they passed by the shoe shop, Lena saw a white piece of paper stuck on the window. She glanced at it and her heart gave a wild jump. Her name and Dune's were written on it in big black letters. Dune Harrow and Lena Mayfleet, wanted for spreading vicious rumors. If you see them, report that to Mayor's chief guard. Believe nothing they say. Reward. She snatched the poster off the window, crumpled it, and tossed it into the nearest trash can. In the next block, she tore down 2 more, and Dune ripped one off a lamppost. But there were too many to get them all, and they didn't have time to waste. They ran faster. On this holiday, people slept late, and because the stores were closed, the streets were nearly empty. Still, they took the long route on the way out by the beehives to avoid Sparkswell Square, where a few people might be standing around and talking. They ran past the greenhouses and up Deadlock Street. As they crossed Knight Street, Lena glanced to her left. 2 blocks away, a couple of guards were crossing the Greengate Square. She tapped Dune's shoulder and pointed. He saw, and they ran faster. Had they not noticed? Lena thought not. They would have heard a shout if the guards had seen them. They got to the school and went through the back door to Wild hallway. Their footsteps echoed in the wooden floor. It was strange to be here again, and to be here alone, without the chatter of the other children. The hallway with its 8 doors seemed smaller to Lena than it had when she was a student, and shabbier. The planks of the floor were scuffed gray, and there was a cloud of finger smudges around the doorknob or every door. They went into Miss Thorne's room and, out of habit, sat at their old desks. I don't think they'll look for us here, said Dune. If they do, we can run into the small paper cabinet. He set his pack down next to him on the floor. For a while they just sat there, getting their breath back. They hadn't turned the light on, so the room was dim, and the only light came in from beneath the blind over the window. Those posters, Lena said after a while. Yes, everyone will see them. What will they do if they catch us? I don't know. Something to keep us from telling what we know. Put us in the prison room, maybe. Lena ran her finger along the B carved on her desktop. It felt like a very long time since she'd sat at this desk. We can't hide in here forever, she said. No, said Dune. Just until it's time for the singing. Then, when everyone is gathered in Harkin Square, we'll go and tell about the boats and the mayor, won't we? I haven't really thought about it. I haven't had a chance to think about all this morning. But the guards are always there at the singing, standing next to the mayor, said Lena. They'll grab us as soon as we opened our mouths. Dune's eyebrows came together in a dark line. You're right. So what will we do? It was like finding yourself on a dead-end street, Lena thought. There was no way out. She stared blankly at all the things that she had once been in her companions, been her daily companions. The teacher's desk, the stacks of paper, the book of the City of Ember on its special shelf. The old words ran through her head. There is no place like Ember. Ember is the only light in a dark world. She knew now that it wasn't true. There was someplace else, a place where the boats would take them. As if Dune had read her thoughts, he looked up. We could go. Go where? She said, as she knew right away what he meant. Wherever the river leads, he said. He gestured to a pillowcase sack. I packed my bag this morning. I'm all ready. I'm sure I have enough for you, too. Lena felt her heart shrink a little. Go by ourselves, she said, without telling anyone. Without telling anyone? We will tell them. Dune was on his feet now. He went to the cabinet and got out a sheet of paper. We'll write a note explaining everything. A note to someone we trust, someone who'll believe us. But I can't just leave, said Lena. How could I leave Poppy? And not even say goodbye to her? Not know where I'm going or if I'm ever coming back? How could you go without saying goodbye to your father? Because, said Dune, once they find the boats, the rest of Ember will follow us. It's not as if we're leaving them forever. He strode across the room and rummaged through Miss Thorne's desk. Who shall we write the message to? Lena wasn't sure about this idea, but she couldn't at the moment think of a better one. So she said, we could write it to Clary. She's seen the instructions. She'll believe what we say. And she lives close by, just up Torque Square. Okay, said Dune. He pulled a pencil from the desk drawer. Really, he said, this is a perfect idea. We can get away from the guards and leave our message behind us. And we can be the first one to arrive at the new city. We should be the first because we discovered the way. Well, that's true, Lena thought for a minute. How long do you think it'll take before the rest of them find the boats and come? It's a lot of people to get organized. She numbered on her fingers the things that would have to happen. Clary will have to get the head of the pipeworks to go down with her and find the boats. Then she'll have to make the announcement to the city. Then everyone in Ember will have to pack up their things, troop down the river, get all those boats out of the big room and load themselves in. It could be a big mess, Dune. Poppy will need me. She pictured frenzied crowds of people, and tiny Poppy is lost among them. Poppy has Miss Murdo, said Dune. She'll be fine, really. Mrs. Murdo is very organized. It was true. The thought of taking Poppy with her on the river, which was darted into Lena's mind, darted out again. I'm only being selfish, she thought, to want to have her with me. It's too dangerous to take her. Miss Murdo will bring her in a day or two. This seemed like the most sensible plan, though it made her so sad and to cast a shadow over the thrill of going to a new city. What if something goes wrong? She said. Nothing will go wrong. It's a good plan, Lena. We'll be there ahead of everyone else. We can welcome them when they come. We can show them around. Dune was bursting with his eagerness. His eyes shone, and he jiggled up and down. Well, all right, Lena said. Let's write our message then. Dune wrote for a long time. When he was finished, he showed what he'd written to Lena. He had explained how to find rock with the E, how to go down the boat room, even how to use the candles. It's good, she said. Now we have to deliver it. She paused for a moment to see if she had any courage inside her. She found that she did, along with sadness and fear and excitement. I'll deliver it, she said. I'm the messenger, after all. I know back ways to go, where no one will see me. An idea struck her. Dune, maybe Clary will be home. Maybe she would keep us safe and help us tell what we know, and we won't have to leave right now. Dune quickly shook his head. I doubt it, he said. She's probably with her singing group getting ready. You'll just have to leave her the note under her door. Lena could tell from the tone of his voice that Dune really didn't want Clary to be home. She supposed he had his heart set on their going down the river by themselves. Dune glanced up at the clock on the schoolroom wall. "It's a little after 2," he said. "The singing begins at 3. After that, everyone will be in the Harkin Square and the streets will be empty. I think we can get to the pipework safely then. Why don't we leave about a quarter after 3? You still have the key?" Dune nodded. "So, after I've delivered the note, and to Clary, I'll come back here," said Lena. "Yes, and then we'll wait until 3:15, and then we'll go." Lena got up from the cramped desk and went to the window. She moved the blind a little and peered out. There was no one in the street. The dusty schoolroom was very quiet. She thought about Dune's father, who would be frantic when he saw his son's name on the posters and then realized later that Dune had disappeared. She thought about Mrs. Murdo, who might already have seen the posters, and who would be frightened if the guards came looking for Lena, and terrified if Lena didn't come home by nightfall. She tried not to think about Poppy at all. She couldn't bear it. "Give me the note," she said to Dune. At last, she folded the piece of paper carefully and put it in her pocket of her pants. "Back soon," she said, and she went out of the room and down the hall to the rear door of the school. Dune went to the window to watch her go. He moved the blind aside just enough to see into Pibb Street. There she was, running in that long-legged way, with her hair flying. She started across the stone-grit lane. Just before she reached the other side, Dune's breath stopped in his throat. 2 guards rounded the corner from Knapp Street. Directly ahead of her, one of them was the chief guard. He leapt forward and shouted so loudly that Dune could hear him plainly through the glass. "That's her! Get her!" Lena reversed her direction in an instant. She raced back down Pibb Street, turned down School Street towards Bilbolio Street, and vanished from Dune's sight. The guards ran after her, shouting. Dune watched, sick with horror. "She's much faster than they are," he told himself. "She'll lose them. She knows places to hide." He stood frozen next to the window, hardly breathing. "They won't catch her," he thought. "I'm sure they won't catch her." The next chapter is the singing. And so that's where we'll stop. I'll pick up on chapter 16 tomorrow. I got some pictures up from, if you remember, The Adventures of Bodhi. We had some authors come in and speak with us earlier this year. The authors read to us, so that's all of us sitting here. They read some stories, and this was the cover, right? The Adventures of Bodhi, and they had one in Wisconsin. So I don't know if you remember that. It was really early in the year, so maybe you remember it, maybe you don't. I hope you guys enjoyed that part of the story. Getting interesting, a little more suspense there. We'll find out if Lena can deliver the message and make it back safely, or what happens. And if you are enjoying it, I hope you guys keep listening in. Keep up the good work. If you have any questions, let me know. I love hearing from you guys. So hopefully see you guys tomorrow in our hangout, and I will talk to you then. Have a great day.